Good evening, friends, and welcome to Littleport Christian Spiritualists. It is a pleasure to welcome everyone here this evening. Welcome to the new look room. We've had a bit of a change of scenery today, just to make things a little bit more different and mix it up a bit. And I'm sure you were bored of seeing my bedroom too. So without further ado, let's give a big welcome to our medium for this evening. We've seen him on here before. We've seen him at Littleport before. He's a good friend of ours. Give a big Littleport and Facebook, internet and YouTube welcome to the lovely Lester Rosen. Hello, young man. How are you?
I'm
good evening.
Middling. How are you, sir?
I'm very, very fair to middling myself. Thank you very, very much. How's life been treating you?
I like the background.
It's nice, isn't it? This is my little friend Spot. He is a gold-spangled angelfish. So I've got my tropicals behind me. Well, it is very tropical outdoors, isn't it? So
yeah, it looks very efficient.
Lester, do not ever change, my friend. Do not ever change. As you can see, everyone at home, we are going to have another one of those nights, but I wouldn't change it for the world, my lovely boy. So I know last time you were on, you were very disappointed that you missed somebody because you do like to have a bit of banter with a certain young lady who heads up our society. So bearing in mind that there is... What was that?
Have you got me on the false pretenses that this is your life?
No, I'm afraid not. I haven't got a little red book, not for a long time anyway. But you can see what tonight's going to be like, friends. It's always a pleasure and never a chore. And the same can be said for a very good friend of mine, Principal Minister, and my friend and mentor. Give it up for Reverend Lynn Gibbs-Swart.
Hello, everybody. And hello there.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I think this is your life. I think I would have had to have been behind a screen and speaking and making some memorable remark about when we last met, which was probably about 300 years ago.
Was it that?
Do you remember that time in the village hall, Lester, when you...
Careful. Don't forget, I come from a Jewish background, so this could be my life. This is yours.
My life already.
Yeah.
Snack. Or should I say
How have you been?
Don't ask.
I've just asked. It saves doing all the mediumship tonight. We can do your story.
Oh, well, yeah. I'll give you the messages. Yeah. I've seen them done before. Where you say, now, why is there somebody here talking about Penelope? And then the person tells you all about it. And you say, yeah, you see, I was right. That's a Jewish mediumship.
Absolutely.
Like the old boy who gets knocked down by a truck. And they all rush out to him. And little Jewish man, of course. And they all rush out and say, how are you? Are you comfortable? He says, I make a living.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a thorn between two roses at the moment.
Oh, I say, a schmooze will get you everywhere.
Yeah,
I think there's enough of this, this is private conversation, Lester, and I won't get any more private than that.
Okay. Bless you.
Out of deference to your sensitive nature.
Okay.
And the many women that you've been involved with. Oh, did I say that?
Please. Moving swiftly on to a more spiritual note. Yes, Sam, cover our ears up, please do. Yes. Oi, dear, oh dear. I feel as though the spirit has moved me with that one. So, Lynn, tell us, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been doing all the usual kind of things. I've done the odd little broadcast about this and that for people, little chats about stuff to do with spirit and spirituality, well, our variety, of course, and spreading the word as best I can. And of course, I finished the local community magazine and got that off to the printers. So that's coming back into the village this week coming. So a bit of this and a bit of that. And of course, if I talk to all my children, that takes plenty of time, as I have 6, as some people don't know. And then there's some grandchildren also that like to chat to me on messages and things. So I'm pretty busy, really. And basically, thank God that I'm here.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So thank you for asking, dear Reverend Nick.
You're very, very welcome. So this is the point where usually Reverend Lynn has some spiritual guidance and wisdom to impart upon us, and I will probably add my own half a penny as well, based on all of my experiences of the week. But so Lynn, give us some enlightenment and upliftment, please.
Well, something that I was thinking about, because this is what we do, isn't it? Us spiritualists, we think a lot. And I was thinking about why people tune in to our services and to all the various mediums and psychics that we have broadcasting now on social media and so on. And I thought, basically, people need comfort and they need upliftment, especially, you know, in these hard times. I mean, the human beings have a hard time of it anyway. We know this, and it doesn't matter if they're rich or poor, old or young, you know, male or female, or all other definitions. Everybody goes through it a lot of the time. And I think that spiritualism has a lot to offer, because we give people messages from the next world. And I make no excuses for that. Yes, we do. We give communications from people who are supposed to be dead to people who they love back here on the earth plane. And this is something that everybody likes. Well, a few people don't, because they're miserable. But most people enjoy hearing from loved ones who they've thought have been lost to them forever, to find that in actual fact they're able to communicate with them, to make their presence felt to them. And I've always said this, that, you know, there are people who sort of criticize mediums, for instance, and it's like they're testing you on a sliding scale, like as if they're figure skaters in some competition, you know, and marking us out of 6. You know, 5.9 for old Joe Bloggs down the road. He was good, wasn't he? And then you get 3.2 for her up there, because she wasn't all that. And then you get I would give him less than 1, really, because he didn't give me the person that I wanted. He gave me that woman I hated while she was down here. I didn't want to talk to her. You know, so there's all these things going on. But the fact is that everybody loves to have a message. And I think that is a good thing. But the fact is this, that messages have to contain within them that truth, that life does continue after this one. And the reason that it does is because we are all of the spirit. We are spirit within these fleshly bodies. And when we pass away, when our physical body is no more, we go on to those spirit dimensions, and we live a continuous life, and we live on in other dimensions, and we are able to prove that through those messages. So I think that, again, we then look at the philosophy that comes from that we have, which is that we are a spirit here and now, and everybody is spirit, regardless of creed or culture, colour, religion, doesn't matter what they are down here. Everybody goes on to live in those spirit dimensions as spirit, and we all come from the great spirit, one spirit. We are all one spirit of the great spirit, and really that is our raison d'etre. That is the reason that we are, as spiritualists. We know that we are all that spirit, and we do not harbour the desire to harm the next spirit to us. So when Jesus, for instance, said, love each other, that is the second most great commandment, it sure is. Because if we love the next person, there's no war, there's no conflict, there's no turning out onto the streets and making everybody's life a misery. You know, we all debate, we discuss, we talk, we reason with the next person. If we don't agree with them, we don't have to agree with everybody, far from it. But let's just talk about it. Let's not resort to violence and animalistic aggression and hurt other spirits in bodies. That's the point. And also, I would like to say at this point that I would extend that, because we know that animals come back. We know that animals live on after they pass away. That means they have a spirit within them. They may not be highly evolved souls. They may not have what we understand to be a soul, an individual soul, but they certainly have that divine spirit within them, because that's a spark of life. And they deserve our respect as well, because they too are able to communicate back with us when they've gone over. So I do need to say that on behalf of the animals. So the other thing is that I've said about messages being most important. We can get messages for ourselves. We don't have to be mediums in order to do that, or even to exercise our psychic faculties. All we need to do is, as I've always said, just close our eyes, perhaps ask, could I have a message, please? Get hold of a nice little book. It doesn't have to be the Bible. In fact, the Bible's quite stringent on some things, so it's best avoided if you want a bit of cheering up, if you're going to ask for a message from the Bible. But for instance, if you have a little hymn book, they've always got nice sacred words in them. And this morning, I must say, just to end this little chat about what we're all doing here as spiritualists, and our messages and our philosophy, and our upliftment and our comfort that we get from that knowledge that we have, that life is eternal and we are all one spirit, and we're spirit within and there's spirit out there helping us, that we can get our little messages. This morning I was feeling very low and I thought, oh, I'll ask for a message. So I opened the book, and Reverend Nick will know this because it gave me great joy. And I'll have to try. I'm not very good at reading because of my reading glasses. But however, what did I get, Reverend Nick? I got, thou whose almighty word the whole creation heard, the law of right. Hear us, we humbly pray, and where love's golden day sheds not its glorious ray, let there be light. Now, Lester, I'll just mention to you as well on that subject of letting there be light. They were the very first public words that I said. I was in the Prentice Road Liberal Synagogue when I was 7 years old, where I had to go with my parents. You know, all of us who are children at some point, you know, I was a child once, we get taken to a Sunday school, whatever religion we're in. And I had to light one of the Hanukkah candles, and that's the celebration, for people who don't know, a celebration of the miracle of the oil burning in the temple when it was reconsecrated to God after it being defiled as a heathen place. We won't go into that. And the words I had to learn were, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. So I'll leave you with that thought. God bless you all.
God bless you too, Lynn. Now, for people watching, you might have noticed that I've muted Lynn briefly. It's not because I'm cruel or capricious. It's always a little bit of an echo, and I don't want her to hear me twice, because that would drive her completely loopy. Always a complete pleasure, Lynn, and thank you so much, not only for wise words, but also that walk down memory lane, which I'm sure was a really, really good uplift for you. One of the things that you always taught me when dealing with spiritualism, when dealing with mediumship, was always strip everything back and go back to the beginning every single time. So God bless you for that advice, and God bless them for giving it to us in such a wonderful philosophical way. So we will keep you about for later, and we will bring you back up. And once again, thank you for gracing us with your presence, my darling. God bless you. Well, and then there were two again, but not for very long. Lynn's words do remind me an awful lot of some of the experiences I've had this week, and I'm sure we're all thinking about how the world is panning out right now. And I heard a story earlier on that was a little bit funny, and then I realized that it wasn't that funny, and I'm going to share it so that it kind of makes sense. So there was this little girl sitting in her art class, and she didn't very often listen. And she was sitting there drawing away, and the teacher comes up to me and says, comes up to her rather, not me. I was never a little girl. But the teacher comes up to the little girl and says, so what are you drawing? And she says, I'm drawing God. And the teacher turns around and says, but how do you know what God looks like? Nobody knows what God looks like. How can you draw God? And the little girl says, well, everybody will know when I finish. And it made me laugh in the instance that we all have that part of God within us, and we all have that spark of life within us that can create an image of what God truly is. But there is also a danger in that, because the little girl was saying, everybody will know what God looks like when I'm done. And in the world in which we live at the moment, everyone is that little girl drawing God and not agreeing with anyone else's picture. And I'm not talking just about religion, I'm talking about everything. And that's a shame, because as we as spiritualists know, the spark of God that is within all of us is unique and precious to each other. And so whatever image we have of God is right. And it's not about the little girl being right and everyone else being wrong. It's about every little girl drawing their picture of God being right. And I think as we move forward, and certainly listening to Lynn's words, we should always remember that it's not a case of I am right and you are wrong. It's just that everyone has got a part to play in creating that wonderful picture that is God. So we are now, Lester, going to welcome up another guest onto the screen. So I'm going to squish you again. And let's welcome up the Reverend Alan Sutton. Hello, dear.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you, dear boy?
Hope you're all well. Well, I picked out two readings tonight. One was quite long and was by the famous Rudyard Kipling, which anyway, I was informed by Spirit that the short one has got so much more meaning. So it is the short one we're going to run with. And it's simply called When. When eyes see beauty and ears hear laughter, when the senses are wakened and the day's fresh fragrances, when mouths speak only kind and guiding words, when arms embrace, when hands help, when fingers no longer point, when legs march only for peace, when feet dance in joy, when minds unite and create good, and there is respect for all, then the heart and the soul will sing with love. Thank you.
And let there be light. Absolutely. Thank you, Alan. And it's always a pleasure, and thank you. Now, what we do here with our reading versus philosophy, especially now we've thrown both Lynn and myself and yourself into the mix, is another method of proof of survival, of course, that
Absolutely.
those watching over us give us guidance. And such a beautiful reading. Now, I'm sure this one will interest Lester. I'm sure your other reading was quite likely exceedingly good, if you'll pardon the pun for those.
It was.
But I think don't cry, Lexus, don't cry. Yeah, I think they were absolutely right, and they pointed you in the right direction to not only affirm and back up everything that Lynn said, but absolutely
it never ceases to amaze me, really, Nick, both here online and back in the church, when we decided to reverse the philosophy reading sequence, just how spirit will work.
Yes.
It is, as you say, further proof.
Absolutely. Now, it's funny we should mention this, of course, because Sunday I was serving a church in Weymouth. Now, normally I wouldn't have been able to have gone that direction and all that distance. And I do know that the lovely Ashley Oliver is watching. I did put up one of her comments earlier. And she liked the way we do it. So I do know that she is going to borrow that method from time to time, just as a way of proving philosophy.
Sharing is Nick.
Exactly, which is why I don't feel very guilty at all about what I'm about to do. Something they did during their healing is absolutely wonderful. It was something that I hadn't considered, and what they did with their absent healing was truly, truly beautiful. They showed a video of candles, and so in return for her borrowing our method of philosophy, I did tell her I was going to borrow her method of absent healing. So that's exactly what we're going to do.
Are you going to use 4 candles?
I think there might be. I think there might be. And for those that are not over the age of 27, just Google it, because it's a really good joke. And with that upliftment and joy, we'll say thank you very much, Reverend Alan, and we'll see you shortly as we do indeed prepare to do our absent healing, courtesy of a wonderful method by the lovely people at Weymouth Christian Spiritualist Church. I do apologise, Lester, there are only 3. So, friends, let us join together. Exactly. Well, you know me. Let us join together and send out our thoughts to all those we know that are in need of healing as we begin our absent healing silence with the prayer that's written on the inside of our absent healing book. And that silence will end with the word Amen. So as we join together and we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, here we bring unto all those who are sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. Both those we know and those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen. Well, friends, thank you. And once again, thank you to my good friend, Ashley, and all of your congregation down at the Light Weymouth Christian Spiritualists Church. There will be some music added next week, which is exactly what they do as well. And I will also share a link lower down after the service. If you want to go and check out what they do, it's absolutely lovely. It's a philosophy service on a Sunday afternoon at 6:15 until 7 o'clock. Great pleasure to serve them. And there she is. There she is. Hello, Ashley. So thank you for that. And it was your guys' idea. So kudos and credit to you. So thank you. And so now is the time in our service when everyone looks forward to this point. I shut up and give Lester the chair, the platform, the stage. You do remember that I did say you were doing mediumship tonight, love?
I remember the word medium. It was the last bit that got me.
Ah, it's not the type that flows on a river.
No,
It's just
well,
your words that flow on the ocean of spirit.
that's why I got a sinking feeling.
Oh, look out, everybody who's getting a message tonight, because you know what he's like. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand over this service to a very good friend of mine. He's uplifting, he's laughter, but he's also a very, very delightfully compassionate man. And I know he hates being complimented, so I will shut up and bring up our first recipient. She's been struggling to get on our services for weeks and weeks and weeks. She managed to get back last week to say hello. Now she said, right, I want a message. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Linda. Hello, dear. How are you? You need to Linda, you need to unmute yourself. The mute. Unmute. There you go. Can we hear you now? Hello? Can you hear us? Oh dear. The wonders of modern. You can hear us, right? Okay. Lester, can you work on nods and shakes? Be careful.
I can work on milkshakes.
Well, Mum's going to do silent movie. You can do
Okay.
your mediumship and I'll get off out the way. So, Mum, remember to nod and shake very clearly, all right? So nod for yes and shake for no. Thank you. Right, see you later.
That's not, I'm not sure. Oh, bless you. Oh, dear me, this is going to be interesting. Right. Oh, pardon me. Oh, dear. Throat's gone. And I believe the throat's gone because there's a lady that's in spirit that's with you who did have a throat problem before she passed over. Thank you. Yeah, because she's standing behind you and she's not particularly tall, was she? No. I'm getting about 5'2" at the very most. Thank you. Yeah, but she did have this problem with the throat, and it was something she not only had before she was passing over, but it came and it got worse and worse over the years. Would that make sense to you? And it was to do with the condition that she had, which started within the stomach area. Thank you. But she wasn't a lady who would complain. She wasn't an attention seeker. No, not like you. No, I don't mean it. You can laugh. It's all right. Silent laughter. It's like doing a Buster Keaton movie, isn't it? It's great, this. Buster Keaton. Why have I said Buster Keaton? Because Mum came from an era of silent movies. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, all the famous ones. And she couldn't understand what the humour was, or she wouldn't be able to understand the humour of today, because today's humour is not humorous. It's a lot of it is very rude. Slapstick went down extremely well with Mum. She loved that. Would you understand that you've been having a problem, a pain in the right shoulder? Right, thank you. It's not a serious thing. I'm being given to understand that Mum had this habit of leaning on people. When she stood up, she put her arm on people. Would that make sense to you? And that's what she's doing to you from the world of spirit. She's bringing herself through to let you know that she is there. Does that make sense? Thank you. And also, you've had a problem with your teeth as well during this lockdown period. No. Would I be right in saying that Mum had the problem with the teeth then? Yeah, right, okay. And it wasn't in lockdown, it's more like lockjaw, but that's a different story altogether. She had a wicked sense of humour, didn't she? She did. She was the sort of lady, she could start, I mustn't use the word start. She could create a situation for other people and stand back and enjoy what happened with them. And then she'd be the one that went in and told them to stop being so silly, because end of the day, you're all friends and you're all family. But she enjoyed what happened. She was good for her knees up, wasn't she? Yeah, and she loved the old Joanna. I'm being given the word Joanna rather than piano. Yeah. Would I be right in saying that you're one of 3 children? Can you show me with your fingers how many you are a part of? 2. I knew you were going to say 2 because there's one that didn't make the earth plane. Would that make sense? Right, thank you. So really that you are part of 3, because Mum's giving me 3, but one didn't make the earth plane. Right. You say the name of Jim in spirit? Yeah, thank you, because I've been given the name of Jim. And Arnold. You take the name of Arnold around you. Not necessarily in spirit, but even on the earth plane. No. Okay, hold on to that, because everything else that's come through has been correct. And I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong, but it's an unusual name to come through with, Arnold. Right. I'm being given the month of August is an anniversary for you. Yeah. And also December. Yeah, thank you. And both of those events or anniversaries are towards the second half of each of those months as well. Right, thank you very much. I'm being shown a birthday card that was given or sent to you before Mum passed over, and it's something that you keep somewhere as a memento and a treasure. Right, thank you. Because she's showing me that. She's so quite emphatic about that as well. Would you understand that Mum used to live somewhere near a pond where there was ducks? Thank you, because she's showing me the ducks wandering around. And she used to go out and feed them. Right, thank you. There's also. I've got to give everything that I'm being given. Mum used to ride a bike at times. I thought I'd lost it for a minute there, but she was often seen riding a bike. Bless her. Oh dear. There's somebody to do with the nursing or midwifery within the family. Yep, thank you. And in the clergy. Yeah, right, thank you. Well, I don't need to tell you, as I don't need to tell anybody who's got a spiritual belief, that we know they are with us. But Mum's with you more so at the moment because of a situation that you're going through where you're a little bit concerned about it, and you're betwixt and between. You understand what I'm saying? Good, because I don't use expressions like betwixt and between. Mum's giving this to me. She wants to reassure you that whichever direction you go in will be the right direction, because we often come to a situation within our lives where we go down one road and wonder, should we have gone down the other one? So you're in safe hands, you're being guided. There's no real problems ahead. Mum's with you all the way. She keeps coming back with this Arnold. She's giving me the name again, Arnold. Okay.
Surname, mother, surname. I'll explain it to her afterwards. You carry on.
Okay. Obviously, there is something there because she keeps coming through with it. All right. There's a celebration coming up as well, isn't there? Yes, because she's singing to me, Roll Out the Barrel. Which again was one of her old favourites as well. So I'm going to leave her love with you, and I'm going to, oh, 1 minute. No. Would you understand a charm bracelet or a bracelet that you've been left from Mum? Yeah. You know you can connect with her anytime that you want, but if you hold that bracelet and just sit there quietly, Mum will come through. And as Lynn was saying before, you can get your own messages. We can all get our own messages, but from that bracelet, if you hold on to that, then Mum will come through and give you everything that you want to hear and want to know. Okay, I hope that's all right for you, my sweet. Bless
yeah, you. It's not very often that Mum gives everybody the thumbs up. Thank you, Mum. Now, I would just like to make a comment before she disappears off the screen, because I know she picked up on this as well as I did. I obviously mentioned that Linda is my mother, and you reference the clergy. So I'm sure people are saying, well, you know, Nick's wearing a dog collar. Number one, you know as well as I do, I'm not clergy. I'm ministry. There's a big difference. However, what not a lot of people do know is that Mum's uncle was a deeply religious man, and really he led a lot of Mum's views on spirituality and faith, which in turn led a lot of myself. And although he was never officially an ordained minister, he did have his own ministry. He was a great exponent and proponent of the spiritual way of life. And I would be right here, I believe, Mum can nod or shake. He actually bought a house that used to be an old chapel, and that was where he lived. And so he literally did live in his church. So that piece of evidence, in amongst all of it, which I sit here listening and I'm shouting at the screen, realizing I could have stayed on and been Mum's voice for her, bless her. But absolutely fabulous. So thank you. And
no,
yes,
you know as well as I do, it's not me, it's the guides.
But without you, they wouldn't have been able to do it. So take the compliment for what it is, dear. Thank you, Mother. I'll see you later and explain what the surname of Arnold is. God bless. Well, there we are. So yes, it was a surname that that I do recognise that connects, and I'll explain where it is later. Bless her heart. So moving on.
There's more?
Of course, there's more, but you'll be pleased to know that due to special circumstances, I'm bringing up my lady to tell us what this next one is, because we've got 2 readings tonight, because I had a funny feeling that time would be against us. God bless, they do look after us. So we're now going to ask Samantha and Hannah, what is it? Fully special prize. Hello, ladies. How are you?
We're good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Yes, loving it, living it, and all of the above. It's so good to have you here every week, bringing a bit of upliftment and laughter and joy.
We look forward to it every week. We do.
And keeping traditions alive, of course.
Of course.
The Bully special prize for the raffle has always been a long-standing tradition. And so thank you for keeping the lights on for Spirit, as my friend Ashley said on Sunday. So speak soon. God bless you, and stay on for the end.
We will do.
Well, my friends, this is a very, very, very big Bullies special prize. Purely and simply because of who your next recipient is. We haven't had her online ever. She did try and get on right at the beginning, but had some technical issues. Since we've changed over to StreamYard, she's able to come on. We all miss her every week, not just online, but also in the church, because due to health, she's not always able to make it very often. But we do think of her every week. We haven't mentioned her so far because it's a bit of a surprise. Welcome on, everybody. It's our Wendy. Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm all right, my love. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving it. Really, really, really pleased to have you up here with us today, babe.
Right, can you hear me okay?
We can certainly hear you a lot better than we could my mother.
Right. Well, I couldn't hear Mum and I couldn't hear Lynn.
Ah, well, no, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Well, there you go then. Things are working out. So I'm going to leave you two to it. God bless you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, darling.
Hello, Wendy.
Hello.
God. Oh, dear me. You've been through the mill, haven't you?
Just a bit, yes.
Just a bit more than a bit, but being a trooper, you've got on with it and said, I'm not ready, I'm not on the list yet. They haven't made you throne yet, and they're not even talking about constructing it yet. So let's see where we're going to go. Dad's in spirit. I assume, yeah, bless. And all I can say is Dad's coming through. He's got some shortage of breath as he's coming through.
Yeah, he did up at the end.
Yeah, that's how he was before he went. As if he'd done the marathon, bless him. He's panting, and he's saying to me, my golden little girl. So
Thank you.
That's all right. That's okay. And am I getting the smell of pipe tobacco with Dad?
You would with Grandad.
Granddad? No. Okay. You know me better. I won't make it.
I think Dad did on occasion thinking about it.
Yeah.
A long time ago, Lisa.
Oh, I know, sweetheart. I know. And this is the beauty about mediumship and spiritualism. We bring up the memories from the past, things that we don't always put our finger on straight away, and it comes back after a while. But he did like a little tipple, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a bit of a lad, wasn't he?
Yes.
In the nicest possible way, in the most respectful of ways.
Yes.
Yes. Loyal to the core.
To his friends, yes.
Yeah. Mind you, he worked hard. He worked extremely hard because he wanted to give everybody in the family a good standard of living.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strange. He says to me, I worked very hard, but I failed at the same time. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he never thought he did enough. No matter how hard he tried, he was his own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, this is really strange. Oh gosh. He's saying when he comes back next time, we'll be making up for it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very rare that I get a spirit that actually says that, because
Right.
we can get many lives. We don't always know that he's. Would you understand that there's somewhere in the family, there's a little one due to be born?
Not that I'm aware of at the moment.
Okay, that's interesting, because he's showing me that he's ready to come back and start all over again.
Oh,
But
okay.
would you understand a military background with him as well?
Sorry?
A military background.
In the family, but not with him himself.
Right, okay. And I'm also getting a naval connection as well.
Yes.
Right, thank you. And the name of Tom comes through very heavily.
Yes.
Right, thank you. And Nick, I've just been shouted out. Nick's here.
Yes.
Right, bless. Okay. Right, I'm being shown. Don't ask me. I can only give what I'm being shown. I'm being shown a big tank, an army tank. Would you understand the connection with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I always have to give what I'm shown. All right. We know you've had some health issues, and we know, thank God, you're on the road to recovery. It's been like a roller coaster for you, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. You've woken up and thought, "Oh, am I still here?"
Yeah.
Sad. It's a sad way to feel, but sometimes it's how most of us do feel. You're not isolated. You're not alone with thoughts like that, my love. There's many of us. Even I've been through those periods myself. But until we're on the list, we're going nowhere. You understand a cat in spirit, a black and white cat in spirit?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm specific with black and white because obviously
Definitely.
you can have black cats, tabby cats, mushroom cats, but I'm being shown a black and white cat because it's
No, definitely black and white.
yeah, because it keeps curling itself around my legs, and that's what it used to do. It used to walk in and out of the legs. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Happy little thing, and it always knew when you weren't feeling well within yourself. It would always jump up and be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's showing me. It can be very independent, as cats can be, but very intuitive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right, thank you. I'm being given to understand that September's an anniversary around you.
Yes.
Yes, and January as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Christmases haven't always been the happiest of times, have they?
No.
No. There's a cliche. Lots of people say, "Oh, Christmas, the whole family gets together and everything's wonderful." Not with you and your family. No. It's that wonderful old expression that you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I do.
Bless you. I've got another gentleman coming through at the moment, and he had severe headaches, and I'm going to say that he had a stroke down his left side before he passed over.
Granddad.
Granddad, bless him. Yeah, because he's coming through, and he's. You know how people used to go, "Good on you." Used to give that wink, "Good on you." That's what he's doing. He's because he's so proud. Yeah. Oh, bless.
Yeah.
He's doing that because he's so proud of the way that you've pulled yourself together over the years. Because there's been so many occasions where you could have just given up and given in. But bless you, You haven't. You've got spirit with you. They've always looked after you. Who lived in the house out in the country and had a winding pathway to get to it? I'm just being shown this.
We did. That was where I lived as a child.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you. Because they showed me this clear, crystal clear. And why are you giving me that? The year of 1954 is very relevant for you within the family.
Yes.
I can tell you exactly how many years ago that was, because that's the year I was born. So you probably had good things. Yeah, 66 years ago. That was a particularly memorable year for you in the family.
Yeah.
Right. Can you understand a Ford Anglia?
Yes.
Could you show me a Ford Anglia? Yeah. It had a bit of trouble, didn't it?
Just a few, yes.
Yeah. Without sounding crude, it backfired a lot.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. It's showing me all the noises and everything. But whoever was driving it used to lift the bonnet up, to give it a slap on the engine, put the bonnet down, and then drive off again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the policeman in the family?
Uncle.
Yeah, right. He's come through as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, he's actually quoting that good old song. A policeman's lot is not a happy one, because it wasn't a happy one for him.
No, it wasn't.
No. Let's put it like this. He's saying to me that he should never have been in the force, because he'd let more criminals get away than what he caught.
Yep.
Because he had a kind heart, and he would see two sides of people. The people that had to. I've got to tidy it up a little bit. The people that had to do the things that they had to do, so that they could survive and help their families. So he turned a blind eye. Yeah, he turned a blind eye. He said, "Today I wouldn't be able to get away with it, but it was more a community service that he would do."
Makes sense, yes.
Yeah. I don't like the next bit that's coming through, but I've still got to get it to you. There was a young lad that died in a lake.
There's a young lad died, but not in a lake.
It wasn't in a lake, because I'm being shown water around him.
No, he was surrounded by water, but it wasn't at his time of death.
Okay, that's my misinterpretation. I put the two together. I'll accept that. Bless him. And there was another one that. Oh, we're getting them coming through now. You take the name of Dennis. There's a lad that passed over.
Den, yes.
Den, yeah, passed over sooner than he should have. Yeah. By his own methods. Yeah. He's just saying I couldn't take it anymore. But that's the way things were. Yeah. Well, he's at peace now.
That's lovely.
It took him a long time to find the light.
I believe it did, yeah.
Yeah, but eventually he did, and he's in a much better place now as far as he is concerned. He's still remembered by people on the earth plane. He's still recognised. Would you understand that those that knew him closely still raise a glass to him in his honour?
Yes. It was lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, because he's showing me, and he's saying, I'm there with them. I'm there. And I'm not getting the connection with him. But if I was to say to you that the people who he's connected with often see curtains moving and there's no draft. You understand this?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he's there. He's there. You often light a white candle, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And you stare into it and you say your prayers. Why are you asking for forgiveness? You don't need to ask for forgiveness.
Sometimes we wish we could do more, don't we?
Who's perfect? None of us are perfect. That's why we're human. It's when we pass to spirit that's when we become perfect. we have to learn from the mistakes that we make. That's what we're here for. Every day we have to learn something, even if it's not to do that again. And learn. Yeah. But I'm just going to say to you that you're surrounded by. Although you feel isolated at times, you're not. They're always there. We know they are there. You haven't been sleeping well, have you?
No.
No. And tonight you will sleep well.
Mm-hmm.
You will sleep well. There's no two ways about it. I know you will, because he's not one of my guides. He's one of my friends that I call in every so often. And as you know, they're all multi-dimensional. Archangel Michael is going to be coming to look over you tonight and make sure that you get a good night's sleep, because you need a good rest. Okay.
Thank you, Mother.
Bless you. No, thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. Pleasure.
And thank you very much, Mother. Thank you. God bless.
Bless you.
And it is so good to see you up here, Reverend Wendy. It really, really is.
I'll try again. I'll try again.
Absolutely. I believe Churchill quite rightly put it as KBO. And I'm not going to translate that wearing what I am wearing, but I'm sure the wonderful lady Miss Google can explain to all those that don't know what KBO is. But you are the personification of KBO, my love, and as always, it is a pleasure.
God bless you, Nick.
God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
Everybody. I might switch off now. I'm breathless. Okay,
all right,
bye-bye.
All right, my darling. You rest easy. See you soon. Oh, she's got rid of herself for me. Bless her heart. Well, friends, that brings this service almost to an end. But it would not be a service without having a bookend. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, so I don't get the cane when I bring her back up. She's smiling, so she knows I'm talking of her. Let's get back up the lovely Reverend Lynn. Hello, Reverend Lynn.
Hello again. That was unexpected.
We've got to keep ourselves on our toes, haven't we, my love?
Oh, indeed we have. Yes. Thank you, Reverend Nick.
And I'd like to actually.
I know you're only getting back at me. You're getting back at me for all those imagined slights that you ever had during your development circle days.
There were never any slights. Never. In actual fact, one of the reasons why I've brought you back up is to demonstrate something. But I know, Lester, you don't have to put your hand up, love. You can speak.
I know, we don't like interrupting. I've got my cards at the side of me, and I've just picked up a bundle, and the card that's come up actually defines Reverend Lynn perfectly. I don't know if you can see this.
To your
I'll try and put it in front of the.
Let me make it. Hang on, let me make it bigger for you.
Oh,
isn't that lovely? And it's the right colour as well.
It is. And it's got your candle on, but just one, not four.
Yes.
thank you.
And little do you realise, Lester, that actually ties in with what I've got to say. I know there's only about a decade that separates myself and Lynn in life and experience and everything. But I want to share with you something that you and I do have in common, because it ties in very much with what she was saying earlier. And I know Mum is going to start grinning in a second because she's going to figure out what I'm on. I have a Bible that belonged to my nan's mum, who came through tonight. And in the front of that Bible, she has got one passage written in there. And it is Psalm 119, verse 105. And it simply is this: "Your word is a lamp at my feet and a light at my path."
Yeah. Amen.
So as it begins, so it ends. So thank you, Lester, for a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
but
you.
well done, Lester, if I might add my congratulations to that.
Oh, thank you. But as I always say, it's not me, it's my guides. I'm just the messenger.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Don't be so modest.
Well, without our guides, where are we?
No, the point is this, that we have to actually develop our abilities, and we sit for hours and hours and hours, for hundreds of hours, to develop those attunements to the world of spirit. If it was that easy, everybody at the bus stop would be chatting with them over there and relaying messages. So, you know, it does take some dedication and devotion to duty, Lester. So I think that, you know, yes, it is our guides and everybody over there, but I think that, you know, people who have developed their own abilities as mediums should actually take some credit for it, because you know, I think you know, otherwise we hide our light under the bushel, which we are not supposed to do.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And my guides appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
And I think when Lynn referenced slights in circle, I would never say this was slight, but this was an ongoing theme, and it's a good theme. That's you told.
Thank you.
So God bless you both, and thank you for coming on. Thank you, Lester, for a wonderful evening. And so now we are going to have our closing prayer. So I'm going to mute us for the sake of echoing, but bring everybody who's still watching downstairs back on. So here we go. Obviously, Wendy did say she was going to skedaddle off, which we understand. So here is everybody still downstairs watching. So let us all join together as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, as we leave this place, we take with us your care, your keeping, your guidance and your strength. Let us take with us into our daily lives the knowledge that life is indeed eternal, and that you can indeed, through all those who live in the world of spirit, reach us and teach us and show us the light and truth, that we do go on forever, and that there is a better way of living, and that we can make that so here on earth as it is in heaven, if we but have the courage and the strength to do this. And in all these things, Great Spirit, we ask that when making this happen, you do not move the mountain, just give us the strength to climb. And as we leave this place tonight, and for all those that will be joining us in the future to watch this, we ask for a blessing to be placed on each person here present, watching these words, that your light might shine in each and everyone's daily lives until we meet again. Please God, amen.
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 Well, friends, let's lower down the screen. Thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Mwah. Always a pleasure. And so there pops off Mum. There goes Reverend Alan. Night, night, Sam and Hannah. Good night and God bless you, my Reverend. And we will speak to you soon. Lester, as always, a great big pleasure. If anyone is interested in the philosophy side on a regular weekly basis, I have left a link to a lovely, lovely church down in Weymouth. And be sure to watch the video from last week because I was on it. It was really fun. They're a lovely, lovely people. I'm being indicated by my mother. Let's see what she's got to say. What are you waving at me, dear? And let's see if we can hear you again. Ah, yes, of course. The kitchen is now open. So go and pour yourself a lovely cup of tea, have yourself a biscuit. But until we meet again, thank you, Mother. Until we meet again, God bless you all. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. God bless, good night, and see you all soon.